11 Female Vulnerabilities that Shape Attraction. What Machiavelli might understand today. Machiavelli's ideas were never really about pleasing everyone. They were about understanding human behavior, recognizing patterns, and knowing how people respond to confidence, uncertainty, and influence. If he were alive today, he might look at modern relationships through a similar strategic lens. Not to encourage manipulation, but to understand why some people naturally command attention, while others constantly seek it. Attraction is rarely controlled by money, appearance, or perfect words alone. More often, it is influenced by emotional balance, confidence, boundaries, and the way two people respond to each other. Someone who constantly seeks reassurance can unintentionally reveal emotional insecurity, while someone who remains grounded often creates a stronger sense of respect. There are several patterns in attraction that are easy to overlook. They influence who invests more, who seeks reassurance, and who becomes overly dependent on another person's reactions. Understanding these patterns isn't about controlling someone else. It's about understanding your own behavior and becoming more emotionally balanced. The first pattern is the need for external validation. You can notice it in ordinary conversations. Someone asks, "Did you like it? How do I look? Is everything okay?" Or, "Why are you acting differently?" These questions may seem harmless, but sometimes they reveal a deeper need for reassurance. The mistake is responding to every request with automatic approval. Endless compliments and constant reassurance can eventually lose their meaning. Appreciation becomes far more valuable when it is genuine and specific. Imagine you're with friends and a woman shares an achievement that genuinely matters to her. Instead of overwhelming her with exaggerated praise, simply acknowledge what she accomplished. "That was genuinely impressive. You clearly put real effort into it." A sincere statement like that can carry more meaning than a dozen automatic compliments because it feels intentional. Validation should never become a method of controlling another person. It should come from genuine appreciation. When you stop giving approval simply to secure someone's attention, your communication becomes healthier and more authentic. The second pattern involves uncertainty. People naturally want clarity. The human mind dislikes unanswered questions and incomplete situations. But healthy attraction doesn't require constant communication or explanations every minute of the day. Being available every second can create an unhealthy rhythm. If you respond immediately to every message, explain every movement, and constantly report what you're doing, you may unintentionally create dependence on digital communication. Healthy uncertainty isn't about ignoring someone or deliberately making them anxious. It simply means having your own life. You respond when you're genuinely available. You spend time on your work, hobbies, friends, goals, and responsibilities. You don't feel obligated to explain every quiet moment. If someone messages you while you're busy, you don't have to abandon everything just to answer immediately. You can respond when you are genuinely free. That isn't a trick designed to make someone worry. It's simply evidence that your life doesn't revolve around your phone. The difference is important. Healthy independence creates space for both people. Artificial distance creates confusion. One can build respect, the other can damage trust. The third pattern is emotional connection. Many people think listening simply means hearing words. Real listening goes deeper. It means recognizing the emotion behind what someone is saying. If someone tells you, "I've had a terrible week," you don't always need to solve the problem. Sometimes the better response is simply to recognize what they're experiencing. "That sounds exhausting. It seems like you've been carrying a lot lately." A simple response like that can create a feeling of being understood without turning the conversation into a lecture. But emotional closeness can also become unhealthy when someone starts depending on it completely. They begin treating every conversation as proof of commitment. They become constantly available and slowly abandon their own routines, friendships, and goals. Connection should never require losing yourself. You can care deeply about another person while maintaining your identity, responsibilities, and boundaries. The fourth pattern appears when emotional energy suddenly changes. One day someone may seem warm and engaged. Another day they may appear distracted or distant. An insecure reaction is to immediately panic. What happened? Did I do something? Are you upset with me? Sometimes those questions are reasonable. But constantly reacting to every change in another person's mood can make your emotional stability dependent on theirs. A grounded person notices the change without immediately turning it into a crisis. They remain respectful. They communicate when necessary. They don't punish the other person with silence, and they don't become deliberately cold. They simply remain emotionally steady. If the other person returns to normal, the relationship continues naturally. If there is a genuine issue, it can be discussed calmly. Emotional stability doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It means caring without allowing every emotional shift around you to control your behavior. The fifth pattern appears during conflict. Easy moments can reveal compatibility, but difficult moments reveal emotional regulation. When tension rises, many people match the other person's intensity. Voices become louder, explanations become longer, and old arguments suddenly return. Everyone wants to prove their point. That rarely creates understanding. A healthier approach is to slow the conversation down. Speak clearly. Listen carefully. Avoid insults and threats. Don't say something damaging simply because you're angry. A calm boundary can be more effective than a long argument. For example, "I understand that you're upset, but I'm willing to continue this conversation when we can speak respectfully." Then stop escalating. This isn't about controlling the other person. It's about controlling your own response. When one person stays calm during a difficult moment, the conversation has a better chance of returning to reason. The sixth pattern involves perceived status. Status isn't limited to money, expensive clothes, or impressive titles. In everyday relationships, people notice how you carry yourself. Do you constantly seek approval? Do you become nervous when someone disagrees with you? Do you change your personality depending on who is watching? Or are you comfortable being yourself? Imagine someone repeatedly interrupts you during a conversation. One person might become aggressive to prove a point. Another might nervously laugh and allow it to continue. A confident response can be simple and calm. Let me finish this thought, then I'd like to hear yours. No shouting, no insult, no performance. That kind of communication demonstrates confidence without hostility. Real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It appears in posture, tone, decision-making, and the ability to remain composed when attention shifts away from you. But confidence should never become arrogance. Acting dismissive, rude, or superior isn't strength. Often it is insecurity wearing the appearance of confidence. True confidence is quieter. It doesn't require constant proof. And once you understand that, another important principle becomes visible. Attraction isn't maintained by trying harder every day. It is often strengthened by remaining consistent with who you are. That brings us to the relationship between words and actions. When people become comfortable with each other, they stop performing. This is when consistency becomes easier to observe. Someone may say honesty matters to them, yet repeatedly avoid difficult conversations. They may say communication is important, yet disappear whenever something becomes inconvenient. The mature response isn't immediate anger or confrontation. Instead, pay attention to patterns. If necessary, calmly address the contradiction. "You said this was important to you, so I was surprised when things happened differently." Then allow the other person to respond. There's no need for sarcasm, accusations, or dramatic threats. Healthy standards are communicated clearly. If your values matter to you, your behavior should reflect them as well. This leads naturally to another important quality: direction. Having direction doesn't mean controlling another person's decisions. It means knowing what you want from your own life. Many people drift because they constantly wait for someone else to tell them what to do. They change their opinions for approval, abandon their goals to maintain attention, and make every decision based on how someone else might react. Over time, that can weaken self-confidence. A person with direction knows their priorities. They have goals. They make decisions. They accept that not everyone will agree with them. They don't need to dominate anyone. They simply know where they're going. And when two people choose to move in the same direction, the relationship becomes a partnership rather than a struggle for emotional control.